Hi everybody, it's April Holly Smith. Yay! I want to say welcome to all of my returning subscribers. If you are a not subscriber, I want to say welcome to you too. I hope that you will consider hitting the subscribe button and maybe even that notification bell. I go live 2 times a week on Saturday on Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and on Thursday at 7 p.m. we talk about my grocery stuff on Thursday evening, and on Sunday I sometimes have a topic prepared, but a lot of it is just the ability for us to talk back and forth, ask questions, and just interact. So good morning everybody. I want to say hi. I see Sarah Lewis, I see Cindy. Ooh, and that's a thumbs up, Cindy, thank you. And I saw you and I'm not on the right page over here. I apologize. I'm not doing a good job, guys, on that. Good morning, Emily Miller. I have been spending the morning filming a ton, which is kind of exciting because I haven't filmed a lot. I had a lot of stuff ready to go, and I'm kind of in the process of getting some things going. Again, I've been asked to do a collab with True Financials, Dennis over at True Financials, and I spent some time working on that, and that was a lot of exciting times. Let's see here. My Blessed Life. You're the one that I saw you and I was talking and I was like, oh, I need to say hi, but the mouth was going, and so, you know, everything doesn't go all at the same time. So I don't necessarily have a greatly specific outlined topic to talk about today, but I do want to go ahead and talk about some of the stuff that happened at the end of February and where I'm at with that. I am so grateful to be done with February. Not because February was bad, but because February was busy. It was so productive. I'm ready to, good morning, Window Wendy. Good morning, Tanya. I am just ready to, hi, Sally. Good morning. Have a cycle of rest and recovery. So I think if you were not aware of it, my mom and I bought our 3rd rental house. This timeline is going to be nuts because I'm going to tell this to you. Our timeline was from the bad house, which was the 18th of January, when we went in and found out that there were frozen issues involved in that house. Almost 3 days later, we were like, we're just going to keep looking for houses. We came to look at the squirrel house, and I was just like, I want to put an offer on this because we're abandoning the other house. Put in an offer on January 21st, and we closed on the house on the 10th of February. So you can count that. That's like 21 days. That's less than 30 days. It was a cash sale, which is part of the reason why it went so fast. But we had keys on the 10th of February, and we went in and evaluated everything, made a list of stuff that we needed to fix, started scheduling Mr. Handyman, who comes out and does like stuff that we don't have tools for. It's not stuff that necessarily we can't do, but sometimes it's just so much faster for them to do and so much less work later. Like they moved the smoke detectors. It took him 8 seconds. It would have taken me like an hour and a half. He put in a light fixture. Again, it took him like 30 minutes. I can't do that. I don't have the tools for it. I don't have the know-how. They installed hand railings. We had the glass doctor come out and replace some window panes there was a cracked one, and there was one that looked like a lawnmower someone's like, that's a bullet hole. And I'm like, I think that's not a bullet hole, guys. I think that, number one, it's too big for that. It was too big, and it's facing the backyard. Somebody had a stone shoot out of the lawnmower, you know, so we did all of those things, and like the last full week in March was just nuts, because the week when we first got keys was Chris's week for jury duty. We sent in a thing for him for hardship, and what happens? Nothing. So every night we're checking it, and he ended up not having to go, which was really grateful. I think nobody had to serve, like, only like he was in municipal court, and like common pleas was the only one that like called people in, and they went from like 1 to 30, and he was like 12. So it was like, oh, but nobody in municipal court got called in the entire week, and he had a 5 full day week. Then of course the week after that, which was the full week of work that I was just talking about, was the week I got scheduled for jury duty. So the Monday, the 19th, was President's Day, so nobody worked that day. I was like, okay, so I scheduled a bunch of stuff because I knew I would have that day. Appliance delivery, I think Mr. Handyman, some stuff. So Tuesday comes along, the mail runs because it's not a holiday, and on Tuesday we get a letter from the court that says, "Hey Chris, thanks dude, we understand your hardship, don't bother coming in for the week before." So that whole week, we could have just like had a normal week, like, and not had all of that stress, whatever. So then commences that Tuesday, my week. So I'm grateful that there's only 4 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that I could be called in. And I'm number 64. So they only ended up calling 1 through 14. They skipped 15 and 16 the whole week. So I didn't get called in for anything, but because we didn't know, we scheduled, my mom was off on Thursday, so we scheduled everything else on Thursday. And Thursday was the day that we painted, and there is a fantastic vlog of us doing the work and the painting. If you want to see that, you can see the Monday appliance delivery over on the AHS Vlogs channel that is available. So all of those things got done, and then on Monday was the final, like this last Monday, the 26th or the 27th was the last day that Mr. Handyman was there. Or was it a Tuesday? Oh, I can't even remember. The days are blending together. Maybe it was the Tuesday where he had to come and do the handrails, and it was supposed to be like an 8-hour project, and I'm like, that's going to be like so long with the kids. But he actually got it done in significantly less time. The vlog of that's coming up. If you followed me on my Instagram, I took the girls, which just down the block, to North Hill Donuts, and we had a fresh donut in the donut shop, and it just like blew their minds. It was fantastic. So that all got done. Literally, I finished everything that day. I cleaned the floors, did the lamp, or the ceiling fans, all of that stuff. So I am so grateful that that is done. It was like March 1st was like the rebirth. You're done with that. All the keys are over there. It's literally 100% in the hands of the realtor, the property manager. On Thursday, that my mom was off, we called and scheduled him in, and again, you can hear when he didn't show up, and then he did show up, and we had to go back and forth. Put a sign out in the yard Friday morning. Oh, Sarah Lewis, your question is perfectly timed because I'm about to answer that. Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock, Rick came out and evaluated the house, and he's like, oh, the house is ready to go. We're going to do pictures. We're going to list it. He goes, I know that you're going to finish some stuff, but boom, this house is ready to go. And had a sign in the yard Friday morning. I think it might have been online Thursday night, but there was a sign in the yard Friday. And Tuesday, when I checked online again, because I like to check to see, because sometimes places, the websites will tell you like how many people have contacted the realtor. So I like to just, be nosy and find out what's going on. On Tuesday, they had pulled it down, and on Wednesday, they had pulled the sign out of the yard, which means either they've already 100% rented it, or they've gotten so many applications that they don't want to solicit anymore. So count it down. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday it was down. 5 days. 5 days. We're going to have somebody in there, boom, right now. I'm so excited. It would tickle me to death if there was somebody there March 1st, but they're not, because we went and drove by like on Saturday. And I'm just very grateful that that could not have gone over any faster than it did. Like the work, the closing, the work, and the listing of it could not have been any faster or any better than it was. So now that I've told that story, I'm going to go look at the comments here real quick, because I know that you've been commenting. I can see them, but I have to read them. So let's see here. Oh, so good morning, Sally, if I didn't say good morning to you. And then My Blessed Life says, I watched a video of yours from a year ago, and you've lost a lot of weight. You were beautiful then and beautiful now, so congrats on your accomplishment. Oh, thank you. I have like lost a ton of weight. When I started on this in earnest journey to lose weight again, my highest weight was 209. And I weighed in yesterday at the Higgy station. It says 164 again, but my home says 166. So, I'm right at that like 50-pound mark. It's kind of like, it doesn't feel that way. Like when you're living it and you're just losing a pound at a time, you don't always feel like it's been 50 pounds, but it's been 50 pounds. So, and Sarah Lewis asked, do we have renters lined up? And I believe the answer to that is yes, my friend, we do. Oh, and you know what? Something else that happened, the day that Mr. Handyman put in the hand railing, the final day that we did the work, I put the kids in the car and I'm getting out of the car and someone stopped me and was like, let me in, we want to see your house. And I'm like, you have to have the realtor. I can't just let you in. So yeah, there are people that are very, very seriously like wanting to come in and do this, and I'm very excited about this. Oh, I'm very happy. So, and then Gigi says hi Gigi. I'm still just kind of like decompressing from that, and then because of everything, hey, Broken Over It is popping in for a minute. Yay! I'm sorry that I'm not sorry that you have to work. I'm fabulously happy that you have a job to work at, and I'm glad that you get to work, but I'm bummed that you can only pop in for a minute, but I'm glad that you did. Yay, girl. So also, now that I've been home a couple of days without having like the stress of going and doing house stuff, well, Saturday when I did my grocery shopping, I also run errands that day. I went to Home Depot and returned some stuff, which I forgot to get everything in returns. I still got half my returns here at the house, but I still got that accomplished. She says, I know, boo, I dislike adulting. Well, it's okay. We all adult. You know, I know that you have some stickers that you can put in your planner. Girl, did you wear a bra today? Because you got a sticker that couldn't say, like, that happened. I got them in clearance at Michael's, and I sent her, like, half the pack because it was, like, you know, like, multiple sheets of the same ones. And anyway, it was just, I adulted today. Like, you know, like, I had coffee. But goofiness. So, I finally was able to, like, catch up on the laundry, which it was epic. Adulting on Sunday should be banned, Cindy says. I'm gonna agree. There should be no adulting on the weekend. It should just be fun times on the weekends. So I did like an epic round of laundry. I had like 2 weeks worth of laundry because I was not doing anything here in the house. I did laundry for 12 hours on Monday. And then I cannot even tell you, Sally agrees. It's official. It's been seconded. The motion has been made and it's been firsted and seconded. So I also finally was able to like sweep my house, and I cannot tell you how much better it feels to like have a swept floor, because again, it hasn't been done for like weeks and weeks, because if I don't do it, nobody does it. I feel like I'm super rosy cheeked today. Like I am warm, and I don't understand exactly why. I don't feel sick, but I obviously do not have a prepared topic today. So if you have questions for me, now is going to be the time to like start those rolling in, because I really want to talk to you again. And P. Morris, 1987, yeah, finally made it to a live chat. Woo! Hello. Oh, and you have a fabulous wedding picture. How long ago did you get married? Wedding pictures are always fabulous because, you know, it's like you've done everything that you need to do. All the things that should be done when you're on the way to the DMV. You know, you have your hair done, your makeup's beautiful and perfect, you have a great outfit. But you know what? It's like it never happens on the way to the DMV. She says 8 years ago. Oh, you know what? Something, did you guys, I don't know if you know this or not, because I only know this because I went live this morning, that usually how when we have all these chats and we chat and talk to each other and stuff, and you know how that's lost after a live session. I got a little notification that says that will not be lost now. So if you share any wisdom in the comments today, that people will be able to see them in the future. Do you find having renters hard? I do not, because essentially what I do is I tell Rick, who is my property manager, to do this. And then because he is a professional property manager, realtor with an actual realty. He's with Remax. And he has all the legal know-how. He has the all the tools, background checks, credit checks, you know, like whatever. He can check for bad checks. Like, he has all of those tools. So I pay the right person with the right tools to do the job, and he does it right. Like the same thing with he has had a person evicted from one of our places before, and you know what? It was literally no stress for me. He just makes the magic happen. He knows where to file. He knows how to do it. He just has all the tools to do it, and he's a middle-aged person, so he has a lot of experience, which is fantastic. He's also, even though he's part of a Remax agency, his children do this with him, so it's like their family. So it's him and his son and his daughter. They do the management with him. Like, his daughter listed one of our homes, and like she did the showings and all of that, and then we have had another one where his son did it, and then he's done one. So I am not equipped to do those things. I do not have the training, the realty training. I don't have the legal training. I don't have all of those things. But he does, and he has his kids involved full time, and it's like he's there to supervise them. And I get the best value that way. So I'm also protected, like, legally from things. Like, I'm never going to choose the wrong person. He has the tools to do all of that. Jacob's mom wants to know if I have Amazon Prime and do I find it worth it. I do have Amazon Prime. I pay for it for a full year. And when I have Amazon Prime, I get it for the TV shows. I have a Fire Stick plugged into both of my television sets. Well, that sounds old, doesn't it? It's a television. It's a TV set. And I use it for the videos and the television viewing. I do use the 2-day shipping on every single thing I order from Prime. Every single thing. Hi, Audra. I'm glad you're here too. Because they will give you a gift coupon or thing for like $5 off in a certain category, and at Christmas time I got a whole bunch of those, and it was for a category that I didn't use, and they expired, and I was like, you know what, I'm not going to do that again because there is no value in that for me. I'm going to get my 2-day shipping that I purchased, that I paid for with the Prime membership. I pay for that service. I'm going to take it. So I get the 2-day shipping on absolutely every single thing that I order. And there are times that I do order from Amazon because I'm stuck at home with the kids and it's just really hard to get out. But then there are times that I order from Amazon because I can find it on Amazon and I can't find it anywhere else. So I do find it to be 100% worth it for the television alone. And I'm sure that I've gotten my $2 or 2-day shipping money out of it as well at this point. Because I'm not saying I order all the time, but I do order pretty often, like twice a month, I'm gonna say. So maybe not even that often. I think at Christmas I ordered like 6 or 7 times, and I ordered glitter pens and a case. So yeah, maybe it's like twice a month. Sarah Lewis says in the UK they have actual next day shipping. Now, something though that I will say, with the UK, isn't it like 700 miles between the two farthest points? Because I read a book, A Little Dribbling or something. He's a person from the United States who gave up his citizenship to become a citizen of Great Britain. Tales from Little Dribbling or something, and he was talking about the two farthest points. Yay! See, look, Sarah Lewis says about that, and I'm like, yay! I have some knowledge. Anyway, it's and I'm like, so Great Britain is not as giant. Like, I'm trying to think, like, between Las Vegas and Reno, which is, Las Vegas is like the biggest city in Nevada, but Reno is the, she says USA is a bit bigger. Reno is the state capital. It's an 8-hour drive. So it's something close to that distance between the city and the state capital, which is like, because we can go 70 miles an hour, which I don't know what that is in kilometers, 130 or something like that, 75 most of the way. But yeah, so it's like, that's like my point of reference is like, wow, that's as big as Great Britain. But the thing is we really cool is that you can kind of go anywhere because it's close. So I also have to say that I would totally love to do like the rail pass where you could drive, where you could go all over Europe and you can just go to another country for a day. That is like wild to me. I don't even live that far from Canada, and we'd never go to Canada. Like, I'm not 3 hours from Canada. I'm halfway. We could either go up through like Buffalo and Niagara Falls, or we could go through Detroit. I'm literally like halfway between. We're in the middle of Lake Erie, and you have to go around. Canada's on the other side. So on a clear day, I can see Canada. Not really, but you can from the coast. So come to Canada. I haven't been to Canada since I was like 8. We went to Niagara Falls, and okay, so here's another like story from the vault. You know what? That's not even right. I went to Canada for work. Time to plan some Canadian geocaching. Cindy said that, and literally I went to Canada. Okay, I lied. I went to Canada like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago with Summit. We went to Thunder on the Bay, which is an NHRA drag racing event on Lake Huron. Is it Thunder Bay? Is that what that's called? Or is Thunder Bay like a swimming amusement park that I'm thinking of at Cedar Point? Anyway, we went up there for that event, and I made them go geocaching with me like every day. They were like, this is so ridiculous. And I'm like, this is awesome, Canada. Yes, Thunder Bay. Okay. And Window Wendy, I'm going to ask my Canadian viewers, there is a show that is like the Canadian version of, those Italian kids from New Jersey that party all the time. Filmed there because it's Jersey Shore. It's like the Jersey Shore of Canada or something. Because we went into some restaurant and tried to eat, and they were having like this live Q&A thing with these people from there, and they were like trying to explain to us what it was, and we were like, can we get a hamburger? Like, we weren't getting it. But that's a little bit of run-in with Canadian fame there, I guess. Oh, and speaking of Canadian, I am like way all over. Like, can you just see how like squirrel? Woo. Speaking of things that I'm watching from Canada that we are loving, Tornado Hunters. They are the most like annoying. The one dude is so annoying, but it's a great show. We just watched all of that, and that show was really good. Has anyone watched that? That was on Netflix, but the Amazon's Good Times. So, Wendy says she's not sure. It's from like 2014 was the episodes, because we only got one season, and I think it was from like 2014. So they spend a lot of time in the U.S. chasing. So, oh, red green is one of my favorite Canadians, laugh out loud, Cindy says. I am just like so relieved. I can't even tell you how relieved I am to be done with that house. Like, it wasn't even hard. I'm just like, I think I had a lot of stress from that because I could just feel it like release again. So let me ask you this question. One of the things that I want to start doing, and I talk about this a little bit in some of my goals videos coming up for March, I want to start meal planning again. And I think that I'm going to do my meal planning maybe on my vlog channel. How are you feeling about that? I know there's only like 12 of you out there right now, but I could be talking to many, many people that watch this after the fact. So I guess I'm curious to know, do you want the meal planning videos back? Are you interested in that? Is it, do you want the keto portion of the meal planning? Sally says, I will watch. I like that response. The meal planning portion of it, is it that you want to see some keto watching or some keto meals? You want to see just general family meals? Some P. Morris says she's going to watch, and Window Wendy says that is smart. I appreciate that. And Cindy says, yay, meal planning. So keto, please, Mrs. Is it Dalkeel? Is that right? Is that how I say? I want to make sure that I say your name. So, and Angie says, I would love keto meal planning. I have just come to the point where keto on a budget, well, everything is, okay, good, thank you, Mrs. Dalkeel. That the meal planning that I was doing before, where I had kind of like the list and I would show you, Tanya says she would love both. Where I was doing, like, I was cooking a meal and like serving it to everybody, just isn't what we're doing now. It just that I've actually kind of attempted to do it a couple of times and it just wasn't working. It just kind of wasn't happening. So I've come to the realization that in order, or the thing that is going to work for my family is doing more where I prep cook everything and then put it in containers that are reheatable for both the girls and for Chris, because those three folks can eat essentially the same things, even though they don't eat the same quantity of food and they just eat on different schedules, like they're not going to be eating together. And then of course I eat just differently. I eat a different amount of meals than they do. I don't eat on some days and then I do eat on some days. So I think that how I want to approach this, and I'm kind of doing like I'm logicking it out. This is what if you've ever heard me say, well, once I've logic pathed it out, I'm going down the path of how I would do it is I might do where I cook 2 dinners or 3 dinners and then put everything in containers and show you as I do that. Not necessarily like how to cook this or the recipe, but hey, I have a pork loin and I have corn and I've got a baked potato, and this is the meal that we're doing for 2 days. And I'm going to portion the meal out as actual pork loin and corn and potatoes. But then the leftover portion of it, I'm going to portion out as one big container of shredded pork loin. I'm going to shred it and put barbecue sauce on it. And then I just need to pull buns for that day. And we're going to have chips with it. Like, maybe that's how I'm going to do it. Maybe 2 or 3 days in a row. Or I'll probably just do 2 or 3 days in a row and then edit everything together as like for each week. But I feel like I can also do the costing of the meals with that, because I think that was something that I did a lot of, and I think that was helpful for a lot of folks as far as beginner meals, and even people that were doing meals regularly. I always think it's nice to have a point of reference for what people are actually spending, and it kind of meshes well with my channel, because we look at the ads and we talk about how much it costs for me versus it is different for other people, and what is a good deal for, you know, your media market. Then it's like, well, I bought this $5 pork loin, and you see that. Cindy says, I love seeing the cost. Hashtag grocery geek. Yeah, me too. But, you know, you see me get this $5 pork loin, but then you also get to see kind of like the final part of that, where how I used it and how far it went, and what that looks like, because it's not the same for everybody. It's not. And I've come to that realization because a year ago, my blessed home was talking about how she was watching a video and how much fluffier I was and how different I look. I ate so much more food then. So when I cooked, it was very much about making a volume of food, whereas now it's not so much a volume, but it's a flavor. I want to have lots of flavor with it, or I'm having a more of a premium option. Like, I got a bag of shrimp and it was $4.99. I have 4 meals out of that thing. 4! Like, that's cheap. That's $1 a meal, like, for that protein. And that's something that I can share, like how I worked that out. So I think that I'm going to try and do some stuff with that. So thank you for your input on that. And I will attempt to see what we can do about making that a thing, because I enjoyed doing that. I just enjoy producing content. Here I am talking to you guys because I like it. But yeah, I just feel like it's time for the meal planning stuff to come back. I just think it's interesting. And I also just want everyone to know that meal planning is not the hardest. It's not hard. It doesn't have to be hard. And even if you have no idea what you're doing with it, that's okay. There are simple entry points into this and how to do it. So here's a place that you can start with. We don't need to make it complicated. We just need to make it good. And to be honest, most of the time, simple is the best. It actually tastes the best. 2, 3 ingredients oftentimes make the best food. So, okay, I'm glad to have had that discussion with you. It does save so much time in the long run. The meal planning does. It saves time when you're cooking. It saves time in meal prepping. It saves time at the grocery store. And it saves money at the grocery store because you have a clear path of what you need and what you don't need. And when you know where your needs are, you can clearly separate your needs and your wants so that you can fulfill your needs. And then if you have stuff left over for your wants, you can begin to choose those, and you can be like, you know what, those are wants, I don't need those because I'm fulfilling all of my needs right now. And that's an okay place to be. Like, I think if everyone could get to that place, things would be better for so many people. They would. Yes. True story. Wendy's got the right idea. Oh man, I think I'm pretty excited about doing that. Me and my containers. So something else, I do feel like when I buy all my stuff at the grocery store, I know I have people. Oh, and Angie says not as much wasted food at the end of the week too. That is a amazing point, Angie. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And you know what? Hi, Cassie Tate. That is one of those things where people will say, oh, well, that's a first world problem because we waste so much. And the number one thing is if you use, is the old saying, Angie, that you just totally made this come to mind, waste not, want not. If you don't waste the things that you have, you won't want for things. Yes. Hi, Betty. Cindy says she might need more glass containers. Actually, I am very much considering getting more glass containers. I have spent, since I've got those glass containers, some time learning what I need to put in a glass container and what I don't need to put in a glass container, because I was like, at first when I got them, I was like, I love these glass containers. I don't want these plastic ones. They're no good because I can't put them in the oven. And then I started to realize there are some things that I can put in the plastic containers, and I'm going to give you an example. Oh, Betty says, I use jars that are glass when they are empty. That is a great entry point into some meal preps. I know a lot of like salad and soup things, because those can go in the microwave as well. They work really great for that. I have been buying the 5-pound packs of pepperoni, and I find that if I just let the girls reach their hands in, it goes real fast. But if I portion it out in containers, it lasts longer, and they don't find pepperonis on the floor or, you know, just like left out and things like that. So I've been using the small, like 2-ounce containers. They're like salad dressing containers. They're like square and small like this. And I've been putting 2 ounces of pepperoni in those. And I've been putting them in the door, and they can just grab them when they want them. But they just don't waste as much. And the same thing with Chris's lunch things. Those have always gone in the Rubbermaid containers. But I've been putting in the small, flatter ones, a 4-ounce portion of pepperoni, and putting that in his lunch, and that has been working really good. So I can make 5 of those, and I know I have his lunch snack side done for the week. Also for me, because I need some portion control. I would binge on that. I would just eat it like pounds at a time, and too many calories is too many calories. Even though it's fat and protein and it's so good, I need to limit myself to like 1 4-ounce portion a day of that when I'm eating on non-fasting days. Something else that I have found is really great for those same size containers in plastic is the bacon ends that I got at Duma's 2 weeks ago for $1.49 a pound. I have been also measuring those out in 4-ounce portions, and that also keeps me from overeating, and those can all be in the plastic, and that's great. And Angie, this kind of links back into what Angie was talking about, not wasting. I have found in my refrigerator, I have a ton of like random open salad dressings. Partly because my mom brings them over with some of the catered foods that they get at the medical office in those same 2-ounce containers. What I've been doing is I've been measuring out 2 tablespoons because that's a serving. And anything that has 2 carbs in 1 serving, I've been doing this with. Put, you know, my 2 tablespoons, so I've got 2 carbs in there. Then I've been adding apple cider vinegar, like a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and a tablespoon of a quality oil, whether that's MCT oil or coconut oil, and I tend not to use coconut oil because I keep them in the fridge and that gets hard and I don't want that, or olive oil, and then some Frank's Red Hot, maybe a half a tablespoon of that, and then I just shake it up. So then I have like twice as much, but I still only have 2 carbs in it, so it's measured out. And I've been keeping those in the fridge for my salads so that I'm, 1, using up the salad dressing, and 2, it's like I'm not loading up on the carbs. I'm still limiting to 2 carbs. Now, I know if you are a bulletproof person or a keto person, those do have soybean oil in them, and soybean oil causes inflammation. I totally know that, but I just don't want to waste it. I don't want to do that. It is a problem for me. So that's one of the ways that I am instituting a way to just consume them up. And they're already pre-portioned, and I just portion them once a week. I do like 4, and that's usually enough. And if I need to make more, I just make more. So those are all things that I figured out that I don't need to put in a glass container. I can absolutely, and Betty says wasted food is wasted money, and that is true. That is so true. And honestly, if my mom brings home catered food with salad dressing, that's money. It's not even like I had to spend money. That's free. Like Apple Kreider, I don't know if you watch him. He is like a college student that he does financial videos bridging the gap between what schools teach in the real world. And he was talking about investing when you had $0 and how if you invest with $0, anything you get back is infinite returns. And I was just like, I have infinite return salad dressing. It's infinite money that I'm saving because I spent nothing. Even though I did buy like the Frank's Red Hot and the the oil and the apple cider vinegar, but the apple cider vinegar I paid $1 for at the Dollar Tree for like a pint or something. It's huge. It's a huge amount of it. So I just like the way you guys think. You guys really think in a way that like it just is really good for me. You can give me like a prompt, and it's like and like all of this thought comes from it, and I just really appreciate that, Angie. I'm looking at you because right now, like, you just that drop in the bucket like made all those ripples. So I am learning to manage my containers better, like what I need to put in, like I said, plastic versus the glass. And also I've learned that the girls need like the next to the smallest glass containers for their meals, because they just, or I can use one of the medium containers, and one of those will feed both of the girls because they just don't eat that much. Yep. So I know, Angie, like, you just sometimes, like I say, it's just that drop in the bucket and all those ripples come out. So but that has been a big focus for me. And then, of course, you know, just making sure that I pull from the back of the fridge and cycle through everything. I'm just all up in those containers. I'm so into the containers. I love reusable things. I'm into things that I just don't have to throw away right now. Washcloths, towels, just into those because I can wash them and use them. It's like you make the investment and you don't have to continuously reinvest in them. I'm liking that a lot. So my brain's just like worried on the inside, like, about these containers. So what were the price of eggs for you this week? I found them both at Aldi's and at Save-A-Lot. Aldi's was oh, and Betty says, last time I ran out of body wash, I started using bar soap again. I have a ton of French milled soap. Okay, bing, here it goes again. 28 cents, Sally, for what? And Betty says $2.49 for an 18 count. 88 cents here at Aldi's. Oh man, that's so good. My Aldi's was $1.59 and Save-A-Lot was $1.69. Not that great. But let's talk about this soap, bar soap. Okay, so I have a ton of bar soap. Gigi says 62 cents at Aldi's and 92 cents at Walmart. Man, you guys are lucky on the egg front. I also spent some time like reorganizing stuff, and I put all of my soaps together, my hotel soaps, my big bar soaps, and I realized that I have enough soap to last until the end of time. So one of the things that I will share with you as a hot tip, I use the body puff, you know, the squishy puffy thing that costs like 50 cents or 99 cents. You know, it comes in a bin and they all the different colors, and they're like tulle that's fluffed around. I take my bar of soap and I just rub it on there, and it gets just as foamy as the body wash. And it's like 8,000 times cheaper. Because I am trying to make my way through this, and I've been teaching my girls to do it in the bathtub. And also because I've heard, like, Jane from A Decade to Freedom was talking about in her Way to Frugal Minute series, which I think the opening to that is so funny. Way to Frugal Minute, that edit in there is just so funny to me. But like, people were talking about kids wasting their shampoo and their body wash and things like that, and it's like, I can give them a hotel soap, even a little one, or a big bar of soap, and they can soap it up as many times as they need to. And if they drop in the water, I just tell them to pick it up and put it up. You know, like, there is some prompting of learning involved in there, but it's hard for them to waste a lot, or you know what I'm saying, even if they do waste some bar soap, it's so much cheaper to waste bar soap than it is a packaged body wash. Don't get me wrong, I love me some packaged body wash. I did just buy a whole bunch, a whole bunch at Christmas time, and I love it for myself, but I don't want to share it with my toddlers. I just don't. It just doesn't make sense for me to do that. So I have been teaching them to do that, and they can play with that as much as they want, and it doesn't hurt my feelings. So Gigi says, I feel body wash wastes too much. My 13-year-old, I think, pours it down the drain. Because you know what they want is they want that foaminess. They want the foam. And that's why I say, as if I do that and I scrub it on there and then I just it up in there, it gets foamy just the same. And that's what my kids want, is the foamy bubbly part. And then when it runs out, they just foam it back up, and it, like, I'm sure there's probably a certain amount of waste that goes into that because they just keep doing it so often, but it's so cheap. It doesn't bother me. You know, especially because it's infinite returns again on the hotel soap that was free. It literally cost me nothing. So, and Betty says, I just use the washcloths that I already own. Every year I buy soap and buy one get one free at Cost Plus World Market on Black Friday, plus no plastic. That's true. That's a good point. And all of those things work. And if you're going to use a washcloth, here's my tip for the kids. Is we would take the bar and put it in, and then, like, so it would be like a bag, and then we would wash with it that way, and you never ever run out of soap that way. Never. You can have like the smallest chip in there, and if you get it rubbed up a little, and you can use like every single bit of it that way too. And then when you're done, you open it up and just set it back on a counter. Even if it's just like the tiniest chip, it's amazing how much soap comes out of that. But yeah, we do that, like, just with the washcloth, because bath poofs weren't a thing when I was a kid, so that's how we used to do it. Big fan of that. And Sally says bar soaps last for at least 30 showers. At least 30 showers. And I'm talking about like 30 days over like multiple people. Bar soap just lasts for freaking ever. And it's good stuff. It's not terrible. I mean, I don't know if I want to do my face with it, but like once a week I do to just get all the dirt, like that greasy, because it gets it off, my friend. There ain't nothing left. And Betty says triple milled soap lasts even longer. I've been using the same bar for at least 45 days. Go me! Woohoo! And just remember, as long as you let the bar dry out between uses, you're not going to be fostering bacteria. It's the wetness. It's the wet that causes the problem. So if you can keep your bar dry between uses, you're fine. Because I know some people are like, ew, bacteria. So that's how you solve that problem. You just, if you put it in a dish that has like the little pokey things that hold it up, it'll get dry on the bottom too, and that is how you're going to keep your soap clean and good. I have my teenager use the pods in the liquid laundry soap window, and he says, and it does portion control that out, because they will put in way too much soap. And the thing is that they don't always get the concept that if you put too much soap in it, the machine won't be able to rinse it out, and you have to pay for the water to rinse it out. And if you have a front loader, that not rinsing it out is the gunk that the stuff grows in. That's what causes the gunk and the nasties. So, because it holds the water, and the water is where the nasties grow. True story. So that's good advice, because I'm not a big fan of the pods or the pouches, but I could see where that would absolutely have a place if you had a teenager, or as Cindy says, my husband uses the pods for the same reason. She just said that. Just as I was coming out of like my brain. If you need to portion control with a husband, a spouse, a niece, a nephew, an aunt, an uncle, anybody else, I can see that those would be a great thing. Now for me, I do portion control, but I use that pump. That I reuse my pump for that. Love that. But Chris always wants to put 2 pumps in. I'm like, no. So, Betty says I use liquid laundry soap too. I'm not into the whole pods, the Keurig. I use the liquid stuff because I can portion control, but I do have a stash of those pods just in case. Sometimes they go on really good sale too. They're never as good as the liquid, but like if my mom was going to come over and do the laundry, because she's not used to using my washing machine and it's different than hers, and you know, you have to figure out where to put it and all that stuff, I just say throw the pod in, and that's easier. Chris will also do that because he thinks the pods are cooler. Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous, but you know, but yeah, that is a good thing. And I don't use Keurig. I use a traditional drip brew coffee pot, because sometimes I want to make, like, I don't know, a whole stinking pot. Like, I would do nothing but sit and wait for that coffee, for the cup to go, because it's like 1 cup at a time, and it's like 25 cents a cup. No. For like, okay, so let's just say it's 7 days in a week, so that's 20, that's four, that's $1.75. Okay, well, for that, the cost of doing, I can just get, it's cheaper, way cheaper. I can get like 1,000, and that's a cup is 25 cents. A cup, not a pot. Yeah, I get 12 cups in a day, so you do the math on that. That is not, there's 12 cups in a box and they're like $3 or $4. Like, no, I can't do that. It is cheaper than Starbucks. I will give you that. It is cheaper than like Starbucks or Dunkin' or something like that, but not in my life. And the other thing is, sometimes I want a real strong cup of coffee, and other times, and I know that you can adjust for that on the Keurig, but it's not like you're putting more or less grounds in and getting a savings. You're just not. I don't know. Just not my thing. And then people are like, but my kids like to, yeah, my kids are not buying a 25-cent cup of hot chocolate 3 times a day. No stinking way am I going to do that. My frugality is not going to let that happen. Betty says, I have a regular coffee pot, plus I can create my own custom brews. That is so true. Yes. And Mrs. Dykill says, good idea with the husbands and the Tide Pods. Yes. Anytime that I can portion control, that is budget control. So, Window Wendy says, I only use a reusable filter. I'm the only person who drinks coffee. Now, that is an excellent point. I will tell you that one of the things when I bought my coffee pot is I specifically wanted a coffee maker that had the wire mesh insert. And that's what she said, the reusable coffee filter. So I didn't have to buy coffee filters because, yes, they are cheap, but eventually you run out of them. And I'm just going to tell you that there's a reason that I know that when you need a coffee filter and you don't have one, you can use a paper towel. I would know that because I've run out and I can't go without my coffee. So, yeah. So, and Sally says, I spend 14 cents a day to drink all the coffee that I can. You know what? I'm going to be in that camp too. Sometimes I have to brew a second pot because Chris takes the giant tanker cup, which is offensive. I'm the coffee drinker, babe. I am. This is for me. Don't take my stash. Lay off my stash. So, anyway, and Betty says, that makes sense, Wendy. I'm a coffee junkie. I'm on my 3rd mug. Yeah. And, and Betty says she knows about the paper towels because, you know, that's happened to her. So, yeah. I do want to just mention a couple things real quick that in my last live stream, I talked about looking for the Little House on the Prairie books because I want to start to read to my girls in like a chapter or 2 a night because their stories are not long enough anymore. I'm still hunting around for those. My mom is checking to see if she has her set still. Somebody suggested going to half.com and I did check that. And Shakespeare, Chris, that's funny, that rolls directly to eBay now, so it is not as good a deal as it once was. So I'm still keeping an eye out on that. My Etsy shop, shameless promotion, got no problem doing that, just saying. The March 7th is when most of the winter things are going to expire. So you have between now and March 7th to order a lot of the snoods and the hats. So that will be passing out of an option until the fall. And rest assured that Grandma is definitely knitting hardcore on some more winter hats and things like that. We have some things that she's actually completed that we're holding until the winter. But in the summertime, we're going to be having hand knitted washcloths, the cotton kind. So if you like that sort of thing, those are going to be coming out. We have the extra heavy duty pot holders with inserts in them for the heat resistant inserts, and tons and tons of the new cash envelopes in the classic black and gold Art Deco designs, and new butterfly and floral designs that do include some foiled options. Ooh. So the cash envelopes are really pretty. Oh, and if you want to do something for me and you're not going to be ordering from my shop, which is totally fine, there is no trouble with that. If you would pop over to Etsy and just favorite my shop, that would be doing me a huge favor. Just like giving me a thumbs up on this video would be doing me a big favor too. Those are some things that you can do for me that don't cost anything, but help move me forward and help move the channel forward. And I'm grateful for those things, because it's really not, I am grateful to have access to you and the things that you are able to do. So I appreciate that. Oh, look at that little thumbs up for happening. Yay. Thank you guys. I really appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. It's wonderful. So it's just good. It's good. It's a good place to be in this community. And I just want you to know I do really appreciate you. It's a nice thing. So I am at 57 minutes. So this is going to be this is the last call. Not for alcohol, but it's going to be the last call for any kind of questions that we can kind of get crammed in here at the end, because I want to make sure that anybody that has anything that needs to be addressed or answered, that I want to be available for that. So I do feel like we had a good chat today, and I'm just really enjoying the time with you. Next Sunday, I'm definitely going to have a kind of a more prepared subject for at least the first 15 minutes to half an hour that we can have a discussion on. Yeah, time does fly by. Sally says it flew by. I agree. It's like we get to have this like really nice like video chat phone call. It's really a lot of fun and I enjoy it. So I will have something more prepared, and then of course, as usual, the last 30 minutes is just going to be like Q&A time for us. Some things that you can look forward to is my mom and I are going to be doing a Q&A. Coffee clutch. Oh my gosh. We can be the Mike Myers. It's time for coffee talk. I used to love that on SNL. He had that big hair. I always thought he was good looking. Not necessarily as a woman, but he was good looking, so. Oh, when will we discuss our 80s celebrity crushes? Okay, we need to do that next Sunday. Like the last half an hour, I'm going to write it down and we're going to totally do that. We should just have like 80s chat, because we could talk about Ready Player One and how good it is and what you should watch before you go and see that movie and listen to. I feel like I need some Oingo Boingo right now. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It like I can hear it in my head. All dressed up, nowhere to go. Just so good. So good. And okay, so, and as a teaser, between now and next Sunday, this is a little bit of homework. Hunt up a movie called Lady Hawk. Ladyhawk. Michelle Pfeiffer's in it. Matthew Broderick's in it. Rutger Hauer is in it. Tons of famous people. It's canon. It's so good. So stinking good. And it matters. They talk about it a lot in Ready Player One. Okay, so that's your homework for this week. I will see you on Thursday for a grocery list, and next Sunday we're going to have an actual subject, and we're going to have 80s chat because 80s chat. So have a great day. Thank you everybody for coming. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't done so, and thank you so much for already hitting it, because I see the little thumbs going up. So I appreciate you and your time. Bye guys.